Okay, guys. Welcome back.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, congratulations for making it this far.
I don't know why you're still here.
Yeah, it's almost 2 in the morning. We're about 2.5 shits in, and we're finally getting drunk. So
Just getting started.
Yeah, you're at the good part. I think. I
think I'm more sober than when we stared.
Yeah,
that's an issue.
I feel like I've been drinking fast, but like I gotta pick that shit up.
Let me get this thing back.
Okay, so I was talking about this dream, and I recently had this dream where I went camping with my roommate. I guess he's not my roommate anymore. My roommate Dylan and a bunch of my friends.
Oh yeah.
Because
was he the
just
one that lived
graduated.
Like above you?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out Dylan, love you, man. Anyways, so I was like going on like a camping trip or like some shit. We like went out in the woods with him and like a bunch of friends, and somehow we ended up like staying in an apartment with like my grandmother and like my great aunts and like all of my old relatives, and we were all like sitting around and like we couldn't drink and we wanted to drink.
The relatives that you can't disappoint.
Yeah, like the judgmental ones.
Yeah.
So like we're like sitting around and we can't do anything. And I ended up like going out the window, like it's like New York, and you have like the patio like stairway shit,
like the fire escape stuff.
Yeah. I'm like on that, and I'm like just like chilling there, and I like start kind of walking away, and then like a friend that doesn't exist that's also like my sister is like, "Are you leaving?" And I'm like, "No," and they're like, why not? You don't care if you disappoint anybody anyways. And like in my dream I like thought about it for a minute and I was like, you're right, I might as well just leave. And like as I'm leaving, like a whole bunch of like these like kids dressed as like Garfield mascots like show up, and like I'm leaving, and like you know how you just like know shit in a dream, like this celebrity like stops me, and I looked this up, so I know Andrew Garfield was a president or like some I'm sorry, I suck, but he was like a president or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't care. In my dream he was just like a celebrity, and he was like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "What do you mean? This is lame. This is like a Garfield themed event." And in the moment I didn't realize he was like Andrew Garfield. For this Garfield, it was like Garfield the cat, but like for this Garfield themed event, and I was like, that's lame as shit. And he was like, you know what, you're right. So me and like this celebrity named Garfield, whatever the fuck, ended up like walking out and like around this like I guess New York themed apartment campground shit. I don't know if I mentioned mentioned to James that it was like a New York like escape exit that I was like leaving from, but like so there was like this like big festival going on, and I like lost him in the crowd, and like my grandmother and like great aunt were looking for me, and probably him, because he was like for some reason this big event was happening in the apartment we were in, as lame as the event was, and like I had stolen the celebrity guest. And so like I like dodged them and went to this diner, and I was like, yeah, I'm here for, and I like mispronounced his name, and the waitress was like, yeah, you mean Andrew Garfield? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so
Close enough.
So she guides me over, and he's already like ordered all this food, and I guess he wasn't like expecting me to pay or what, like he just ordered like all the food on the menu or whatever, and like on the side there's like all this like old food that you can just like pull off the wall, and it has like cheap prices, and that's how I would have ordered as like a college student.
A broke boy.
Yeah, a broke boy squad.
No $5.
But yeah, no, like all this food was just showing up, and I was like, hell yeah, man, I'm fucking vibing with you, Andrew Garfield, or whoever the fuck dream famous man. Anyway, that's like the end of the dream, but like it was a weird dream.
I've been having dreams lately. I mean, that's it.
You know, they've been writing like articles about how people are having like strange dreams during Corona. I think people are just paying attention more, because like there's like this whole thing where if you keep like a dream journal, you'll remember more of your dreams just because you're like paying more attention. I think people are just paying more attention to their dreams, so they remember all this weird shit.
I think it's just because I stopped smoking.
I mean, no.
So I've like literally started having dreams again.
We're talking about the marijuana kids. No, but yeah, no, that happens. You like start sweating and having when you smoke, you don't have dreams.
Yeah, and then you go on a tea break and they start coming back. Like,
yeah,
really vivid.
It's
like it's
weird.
insane.
I'm a Christian, and I'm a proponent that dreams can tell you the future, and it's not going to be like, oh ha ha, yeah, like if you read the Bible, like, and you like see like dream fortune telling, like it doesn't make sense. You like read it and you're like, how did you get that? But like in my experience, like I'll like remember like a dream very vividly. Like I had a dream about this coworker back when I worked at Walmart, and it was like we were like back to back in the dream, and we were like just enjoying like the physical touch of each other. But like,
as all Walmart employees
but
do.
like our like friends were around, and we were like embarrassed that like we were like trying not to be touching, but like also touching while they like touching out of their view. So we were
like
back
every
to
high
back.
school relationship.
Yeah, basically. But like sad shit. No, I did ecstasy later with this Walmart group, and I totally ended up like doing some making some poor decisions with the with the girl I had a dream about. And so I feel like the dream did kind of like tell the future about like just us like having this semi-covert relationship where it was we were around our friends, but we were trying to hide something at the same time. And I've had other dreams like that where like it'll be like obscure imagery and things, and I'll look back on it later and it'll make like a lot of sense about things that happened, and it makes me question a lot of things.
Dreams are whack, man.
Yeah, they really are. Especially those ones where you're like fighting somebody and like you just doesn't do anything. Like everybody relates to that. Like you like hit somebody in a dream and like they just like don't take any damage. It's like hitting like Play-Doh. You ever have like an action fight dream though, where like you like do hit somebody and they just like fly away at like 1,000,000 miles an hour or something?
Sometimes, but not a lot.
Yeah, those are some cool dreams though.
Recently, more of my dreams have been really chill. Like not a lot has happened. It's been they've been more like grounded in reality, but also still like things that wouldn't necessarily happen, if you know what I'm saying. Like I'm not like out there like flying and like firebending or anything, but like
man, I've learned you can only fly in a dream like if you really believe you can, which is like this weird thing. Like you can't just fly just because you're like, oh, I'm asleep, I can fly. It's like even if you don't think you're asleep, if you could fly and then somebody's like looking at you and you're trying to fly, you have to like firmly believe you can fly, or else you're just gonna like look like an idiot in your own dream. It happens, man. Like I when I was younger, I had this one dream where I could like pass through things, but like I'd like go to show my dad. I think this was a very symbolic dream about like me trying to like prove myself to my dad, but like I could like pass through things, and it was like this like power I had, and I'd like stick my hand in an object. Like I'd like there was like at the end of the dream there was this table, and I'd like pass my finger into the table, and I'd be like, Dad, look at this, and he'd look at me, and I'd like be like, I passed my thumb into the table, and like my ability would stop, and I'd like remove my thumb, and I'd just like where my thumb was in the table would be like a hole or some shit, and he'd be like, what are you talking about? Like I could do it in front of anybody, I just could not do it in front of my father in that dream.
Some psychologist would like want to deeply analyze that.
I already have like I think a big part of it is like for a lot of my life, I had performance anxiety. You know, like about pee shy, especially in high school. I was like pee shy. Like people, like if there were people like waiting on me to pee, like expecting me to pee, no matter how much I had to pee, I could not pee. But like, and that's some real like pussy shit. Like, you call me names if you want, but like I was I was fucked up emotionally and psychologically in high school for sure, and that was just like some shit, man. I didn't have the confidence to just be a person in front of other people.
I mean, I can't relate to the peeing thing, but I can definitely,
no.
I can definitely relate to like not being able to be you in front of people. Like, that was like, I think that just sums up my high school experience.
I've gotten a lot better at it too, like, cause I've always been weird, and people have called me weird, but I think people get less judgmental as you get older. Well, that's not entirely true. Let's look at the older generation judging the younger generation. What am I too soft?
Just don't talk away from the mic.
I'm sorry. I'm forgetful.
Vibing.
I'm vibing, man. But like think about it, like even the I'm the older generation in some cases. Like look at TikTok. I'm not for that.
Dude, it hurts when you start feeling old.
And well, like I have some like I'm one of my few skills that I developed through my life is I can make friends with just about anybody. I can make friends with you if you're 80 years old. Maybe not my grandmother. Like I'm friends with my grandmother, but like we're family. But like I can make friends with you if you're like an 80-year-old, and like we can be equals. And I can make friends with you if you're younger, and we can be equals. And like I have friends who are younger than me, and they'll like be like talking about like TikTok shit, and I'll be like, that's cringe as fuck. But like a lot of that has to do with like us becoming old people and like looking at the new shit and being like,
Yeah. Like it's hard to, now that we're past that point, it's hard to understand the TikTok
developing
shit. Yeah. But like if you like really try and think back to you at that age, it makes a lot of sense.
No, I was the same way, and like having that probably would have been great.
Yeah. At
that age, but like I'm different now. I've changed, and I don't think it's right to judge them. It's certainly fun to judge them, but like that's always true. Like that darkness inside that wants to like fuck with people.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm better than you. But like I think the important thing is like I reached a point like, okay, so like to start with, in high school, I think the biggest problem I had was I wanted to be friends with everybody. And I had lots of people who weren't popular that wanted to be like good friends with me. And in high school, I didn't have any good friends, but I craved to be good friends with the popular people. I wanted to be friends with everyone.
Yeah.
And in my college journey, I finally reached this point where I knew for sure that I could and was to some degree friends with everyone around me, and I realized I didn't always like everybody. Even if I could get along with you're never gonna like everyone. And something I'd always been missing was like close people to be with, and that if I could go back, I'd probably tell myself that having somebody you can deeply bond with and care about is more important than being friends with everybody, or even the cool kids. Because like a lot of the times when you were friends with the cool kids, it was a lot more shallow than people who didn't have the coolness but actually cared about you.
Yeah. Like, because I mean, like we've talked about this before, like me in high school, even me now, I'm the quiet one. I'm not the one to reach out and make friends with someone.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, I mean, me and my mom have talked about this from the viewpoint of like bullying in modern schools. And I can't say this for all high schools, but I definitely know that, like, personally, in me in high school, if the bullying community was really there, I should have been picked on.
Yeah.
I mean, completely honestly, I should have. but for some reason,
We
like,
were weird.
yeah, like I was not a normal high
So what is normal? But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
We were not atypical.
Yeah, but like for some reason, like I was never really picked on, and like the like quote unquote popular kids were always abnormally nice to me. And in high school, I never understood that, but I've started to kind of get why.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna out you a little bit. We were really drunk one night, and you told me that in high school you wanted to be like me,
Yeah,
and that really did shock me because I absolutely despised myself in high school, and I think a lot of that has to do with I worked very hard to be extroverted because I was really insecure in high school. I wanted to reach out and get people to like me, but something that's always existed about you, James, is you are quiet, but you're quiet in a way that you're very quintessential to the phrase, if you don't say anything at all, you can't prove you're stupid. You never say anything that like outs yourself as a dumbass. When you say something, it's well articulated, it's thought through, and that's why people always tend to like you. It's because you're somebody who never puts out things that make you seem as
and like I'm aware of that because like it's something that I've been self-conscious about, that I've never wanted to say something like try and make a joke and then the joke not land. So I've always just not said something until I've had the like perfect thing to say.
And I would often do the exact opposite. I'd push myself and I'd stumble and I'd say dumb, stupid shit and I'd run into walls. Thinking back about what I said in the last episode about how my mom would describe me as stop or go. I would go because if I stopped, I was scared that nobody would notice. So even if I ran into things, I would keep running into things until I got somewhere. And that doesn't always work.
Yeah, so you're like, you were like pushing for the like maybe 1 out of 100 things I say lands with the group, versus like I was always, a lot of the things I would like think in my mind, but I wouldn't be confident enough to say, even though it might have actually, you know, maybe applied to the conversation, but I just wasn't confident enough to put it out there.
But one thing I would say about myself is, even though I was extroverted and I'd go out there, I wasn't always myself. A lot of the times I'd be somebody else who I thought people liked. And I've reached a point, largely in part of my mistakes, to where I think just about anybody can like me for who I am, but I don't feel like I need to pretend to be somebody else.
I went through that like pretend phase in middle school.
Yeah.
I tried to be, because I was craving that attention. I tried to be like the quote unquote class clown kind of person.
I did some of that.
So I would always do like stupid shit. I ended up getting even like suspended one time, and my mom was like shocked.
Yeah.
Cause like, I mean, that was not me.
I'm gonna pour myself another drink. Keep going.
Oh yeah, do it. But like I tried to be that person that was just, and
I'll make it a bit stronger.
And looking back at it, it was a waste of time.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it a waste because pours vodka.
I mean, but I did, like, through that, I did find a good friend group.
Society really has become unaccepting of mistakes, and I think
Be careful with that.
I got that big ass hand grip strength, man. But society's become very unaccepting of mistakes, and it's like everybody wants to be this perfect person.
Everybody makes mistakes.
No, for any, I don't know if anybody younger will listen to this at all, but if somebody younger is listening, a big thing I'd say is make your mistakes. Try not to make anything that's going to be something that sticks with you as like a big mistake. Like I broke the law and I got caught for it and all that.
Yeah.
But when you mess up, that's when you get better. You're not just gonna be the best. You have to fuck up if you're ever gonna get better at something.
Yeah.
And like I've moved a lot and I've had a lot of issues with having good friends and understanding people, and that's expressly and the only reason why today I'm so good at getting along with people. Like, my friends will talk to me and they'll be like, I don't understand how you listen to this person say stupid shit and you didn't get mad at it. And it's a lot of the time, it's not that I didn't get mad, it's that I understood that we're all fucked up, and if you're gonna relate to people and have everybody like you to some degree, it's because you understand that everybody's on their own personal journey and they're fucked up and they're working on their own shit.
Yeah. Like, you don't fuck up to the point that it's gonna ruin your future.
Yeah.
But also don't dwell too much on it, because most people are gonna forget it. But as long as if you
mess
just
up
remember,
a little bit often,
yeah,
but learn from it.
And you talking about moving brought me back to, like, when we as a family moved here. My parents wanted to make sure that we moved here before I made it to high school, because they knew that me personally struggled to find friend groups. And at the time, I kind of understood that, and, like, they had said that, like, we wanted to move while you're still in 8th grade. But looking back on it, I truly appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because I do struggle to find those new groups, but, like, once I get in them, it's fine. And so, like, us moving halfway through my 8th grade year...
You're somebody that doesn't go out. You don't find people. But if you are introduced to somebody, nobody's going to look at you and go, this is a bad person. Like,
yeah.
They're all going to understand. And because what you truly broadcast, it's not always your best, but it lets people know you're trying your best, you know?
Yeah. And so, like, and I remember back to when I moved here, it was, like, halfway through 8th grade year. And, I mean, me as, like, an introvert person that struggles to talk to new people, I think back to, like, when I started, like, halfway through 8th grade in middle school and all, I remember a band teacher. He set me up with a person, or maybe, I don't even think it was him, it might have been, like, the administration of the school, set me up with, I don't want to say his name and out him on the podcast, but he was one of the triplets, stayed through band, trumpet.
I have no idea who you're talking about, but keep
Yeah,
going. No,
yeah,
these people don't
matter.
either. These people
It
don't
doesn't
either.
matter.
Yeah.
Okay, but so
I'll think about
I ended
it.
up, he was in band, and they set me up with him as kind of my, like...
Do I know this person?
Yeah, you definitely do. Starts with a C. One of the triplets.
Tell me later. Tell me later.
Yeah. But so they, like, kind of set me up with him because we had a similar class schedule.
Yeah.
So it would be someone that I see frequently. And, you know, I mean, through high school, we weren't the closest friends, but, like, it made, like, a true impact.
Yeah. I remember people like that who, like, even if we weren't that close, I can remember back and think about how much of an impact they actually had on me despite that.
Like, through high school, he almost, I feel bad saying this, and it's not quite true, but transitioned into, like, the quote-unquote fuck boy.
Yeah, that happens a lot, let's be honest.
But, like, it, you know, thinking back, like, deep down inside, he was a genuine nice person. Like, he, like...
But I think they all are, and I think a lot of them, like, a lot of people get, like, caught up in that, because, like, fucked up people often become, like, the center of attention. Like, like, bring up drugs, for instance. Like, we each have, like, a lot of experience in different drugs, and I don't think those drugs have made us better. But a big thing about drug culture is that it's easy to get into, and a lot of people become popular due to that, just because of a soul similarity. And it's not healthy, but when you do it, you become cool because you've done it.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a good thing. Like, I didn't even drink, like, for instance, in high school. The only drinks I had in high school were, I had like one drink night with my dad before I went to college, where he was like, we're gonna drink and watch war movies to prepare you for what college is going to be. Because, like, my dad's realistic, and he knew that when I went to college I was going to drink, whether or not I was old enough or not. Excuse me.
You know, like, that's the one thing that I like. I mean, not the one thing, but something that I do appreciate about my dad is, like, my mom is a very, I would describe her as a sheltered child. Like,
Mine too.
She didn't experience all that, but my dad, on the other hand, was like, you know, country kind of boy, like, experienced a lot.
Like
and
my
so, like,
my
he
dad
understands.
My dad and I have talked before about how many things he's messed up before, and I'm personally religious. You don't have to be, and I'm not going to force it on you, audience. But one of the things that's talked about in the Bible is the sins of the father will be passed on for generations, and he knew that he had messed up, and that I would mess up as he did. So my dad never shied away from telling me the ways that he messed up, and I didn't fuck up in the same ways he did, but we've bonded over the ways we've messed up, because we know that we have the same roots.
Yeah.
It's
like, me and my mom, we talk a lot, but not a lot gets across.
It's small talk. Like
yeah.
The same happens with my mom, and I think it's because there's a lot of emotional things that we're very similar on. But, like, especially in high school, my dad and I fought all the time, and because we fought so much, we've become close. Because it was never a fighting where it was. Even if it felt like we were against each other, it was. I know that he fought with me for my own good, so we grew together through that fighting to the point where if he has issues with money or work or with relationships or even with him and mom, we can sit by ourselves, and we like to drink because we're bad people, but whether or not we drink, we'll talk about it. But especially if we've had a little bit to drink, we can talk about the real things, and we understand that it's not about. A lot of times, girls will talk about things to share emotions or all that, and a lot of the times, girls will offer advice when it's not needed, or guys will to girls. It goes both ways. It really does. But as very similar men, no gender. I'm sorry, people who are somewhere in between. I don't have deep connections to that. I have friends like that, but I don't have personal experiences. We understand each other, and it's years of fighting each other and years of just being together that really lets us talk about our differences. And I love my mom, but we don't have that yet. And I'm working really hard to get that with her. But I see where my sister struggles with my mom to connect, and where my mom, because my grandmother on my mom's side lives with us right now. She's the only living grandparent, actually. And I see where my mom struggles with her mom. But there's this deep thing that I have with my dad. And I really want to work on that to where I can have that with my mom.
See, like me and my dad, we have... Oftentimes, there's not a lot of words that are exchanged, but a lot of information gets exchanged, if you know what I mean. Like,
You understand.
Yeah, like my
Each
dad
other.
knows exactly what's going on, and he doesn't quite care as long as the required, like he always says, as long as the expectations are met, everything is fine.
Yeah, it's I just passed my summer course and I got congratulated for that. And it was a B plus. And let's be real. B plus is not phenomenal, but everybody congratulated me and I felt a little depressed with myself because I knew there were a lot of things I could have done
Yeah.
that would have bumped that. But I met the requirements.
Yeah. And like, so like, example. You remember the birthday party we had? And there was some
Yes.
liquor left over afterwards that,
That-
I had.
I was surprised how well that went. And you expressed how well you thought that went because
Yeah.
James's mother, not to be rude, is
Go for it.
she's strict, and so is my mother. If we'd had the same party at my house, it would have been just as strict, if not more so, because my grandmother was there. But that's how moms are. They mom.
You know, she started to make that transition, and I appreciate that. My dad has already like gone through that. And,
Yeah,
like,
I've done some fuck shit with my dad that I won't talk about.
so like afterwards, like, you know, I had some liquor left over, and my mom, like, we were like driving home one day from the lake, and my mom goes, so like, what happened to that liquor? And I was like, oh, it's upstairs. And she's like, where? And like, no, I'm not gonna answer that question. Like, you don't need to know that.
Yeah. No.
And like, I could see in my dad that he was like trying to divert the conversation
he
and
was like-
help me with that, like a little bit. Like, he was like, I know exactly what's going on.
Well, it's like okay, so different from you. Like, I know you've been caught smoking the marijuana before. I never had to. I've been caught before, but a key difference is I told my father very openly that I was smoking, especially not too long after it first started happening. Like, it had been a couple months and I was into it, but I told him because we had that deep lasting relationship, and he ended up telling my mom, and no blame on him. They're married. They're supposed to be the closest people in the world. I understand that. And but I've reached this transitional point where my mom and I can talk about smoking, and like I don't smoke nearly as much as I did when I started. There was a time when it consumed me, and I think you're at a similar point.
Yeah.
Things can only consume you for so long, i.e. porn in fucking middle and high school, because that's where it fucking hits you. But
Yeah.
like my dad and I can talk about me and my issues, and it's not a confrontation. But my mom and I, after a while, we've reached the point where we can talk about things like smoking, and there's still the don't smoke, but we can like semi-joking talk about things because she knows that I have and probably will smoke in the future, where we can talk about things, and it's like, what does that smell like weed to you? Blah blah blah. This about weed, that about weed. The effects of it, and that thing. And it's certainly different from with my father, but it's its own growth. We're not at odds with each other. There's an understanding. It's something that's not healthy for me, but will happen because of growth. We make mistakes.
See, like, I've got this thing going on. Like, my mom definitely against that.
Yeah, mine
like,
too.
hardcore.
Oh, of course.
And I've never discussed it with my dad, but I've always picked up this feeling, because it's almost like kind of the same thing with everything, that he's solely, I say solely in quotations, because I don't know.
There's things he expects from you, and as long as you meet those expectations,
and so
you can make your own mistakes and be your own person.
Yeah, and so I feel like it's one of those that he ignores it because he knows it's just going to happen, but he's against it.
You're going to grow beyond it.
But Yeah, but like he's against it just for the reason that it might impact my future. And it's not because that he necessarily disagrees with it, but he knows that society disagrees
it's a
with
legality thing. It's
Exactly.
it's a social thing.
Like if it was legal and I wasn't
it might
gonna
affect your future jobs.
Exactly. So if it was one of those things that it wouldn't affect a future job or my, life going on, that it would be okay. Just as drinking generally is now.
Yeah, there's times when it's okay. But there's also times when it overwhelms you and you fall deep into depression, and it's something that consumes your potential.
Yeah. And then like on the flip side, like it was actually on the night of my 21st, as we discussed in a previous episode. I was walking.
That was this episode.
Whatever.
Whatever.
As I was walking back to my brother's apartment, I like vaguely remember this, and I was drunk enough to confess. I had never truly confessed to him how much I smoke.
Yeah.
But I told him like, yes, I smoke every night at this point. And he just didn't care. And I don't know if it was the same night, but I had talked to him about like me wanting to move to a legal state, and he was like, you don't have to do that. Like, you'll get a job, it'll be fine. I know a lot of people who still smoke. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you're stressing too much.
Yeah.
Like, he completely understood like where I was, what I was coming from. Like, that's what like older siblings, you hate them when you're younger, but they come in clutch.
Yeah. Okay, just to confirm, this was your older brother and not your dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I could never talk to about that with my dad.
I mean, I can't. I don't have an older brother. I have an older sister, and there really is a clear divide between the men in my family and the women in my family, and it's there's very different men, very different women, and there's some people who are very in between, but I don't have that in my family. So personally, I'm gonna put a divide there, at least when I'm talking to my family, between the men and the women. And I know I love very. I don't want to offend anybody when I bring that up, but I want everybody to understand that is the biggest thing.
Yeah. But like me, like I feel like ever since he moved out, since he's opened up, I've been able to get to the point where I can tell him just about anything.
And I agree with my sister, because she's always been a very mature person, and especially when we were younger, that put a divide between us, because I'm stubborn and I grow slowly, and a lot of the times I age slowly.
Yeah.
But my sister, I don't know the divide between her and her fiance. I think it's like 7 years, but there's not a very big mental difference between them, because she's always been a very mature person.
Yeah.
I learned Santa wasn't real. Victoria, my sister, found out very quickly on her own, due to her own deductions, that Santa was not a real person. There were several things that made me believe Santa was still real. Like one time I wanted a skateboard, and I half prayed to Santa, and I was like, I need a skateboard, and I got a skateboard. And my family was shocked because I said this to them, because obviously they were the ones that gave me the skateboard.
Were you telling me Santa's not real?
No. But my point is, I've always been I want to believe people, and my sister has always been more mature, and so a lot of her friends are older, and I've reached a point in my life where I have friends that are older. Like my oldest roommate was like 27 or 28, while I was like 20, like not even legal drinking age. I was the baby. No, my roommates, which I had 4 of, never treated me like the baby, but I was obviously the youngest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember what the fuck I was going with that.
No idea.
We've been on some real serious shit for most of this podcast. Let's maybe like flip. We've been talking about being the bullied, being the young ones. Let's talk about bullying. as our own personal experience. Let's bring up BD,
What is BD?
a trumpet player.
Oh Lord. Oh my God. Don't
So-
even get me started.
Oh yeah, no, we're flipping the script now. We're obviously not going to use the name because we don't want to harm this person. But
I've never had any intentions to harm him.
I've
I've always tried.
I have.
And at moments, I might say I have, but
Okay, let's put this in perspective. BD is there's someone I've tried personally to help, and I think James has too.
definitely.
We've tried to help this person, and they are resilient in their state. BD is the type of person who would walk around. We had school issued Chromebooks
Oh Lord.
in high school. A big, terrible mistake.
Horrible
BD
idea.
would walk around the hallways while playing Minecraft on their Chromebook. I don't even know how they did it, but they did it. And like me and James love Minecraft, but you do not walk through a hallway of a high school while playing Minecraft.
Like, there's a limit to that.
BD was a trumpet player, and for most of our careers, me and James were trumpet players. At the very end of my musician career, I played French horn. Why did that even happen?
I have no idea.
I never deserved, like, okay, a French horn is a very difficult instrument to learn, and as somebody who has always been late, like James waxed his car today, I don't think I've ever washed my car. For some reason, our band teacher always treated me like a top class player, and like had me learn how to play French horn because he didn't have enough. I tried to help BD learn trumpet when we were trumpet. Actually, let's talk about the legend Earl real quick and
Okay.
BD's comparison. So Earl was an insane person, and I don't mind saying their name because I know they don't give a fuck.
Literally, he would
No,
love
he would
this.
he would. Earl did so much fuck shit. For instance, he made a personalized school website so that you could play video games online at school. It was filled with all that generic shit you play in high school on a Chromebook online. One of the things he added to his school website was this image of Kim Jong-war. War is the last name of our school principal because it was an edited image of Kim Jong-un mixed with our principal. He got in trouble for this, obviously, and had to take down the
course.
school website. But a key story point is he was in band with us, and he played tuba? Yeah, he played tuba.
I don't even know.
I
It
think
doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. I think he played
He
tuba.
played an instrument.
He was always cool as fuck because he's cool as fuck. At a point, he became obsessed with the ceiling of the instrument storage and the practice rooms. He would climb up using the instrument lockers. They're not really lockers. They're more like cubbies into the ceiling. And he took people on guided tours of the ceiling.
Like, it was the, like, you know, standard drop ceiling with the tiles.
Yeah.
But you could push a tile out of the way and then, like...
Stand on the actual walls.
Yeah,
that
like, the
met
brick
ceiling.
walls would, like, extend, like, a foot or two past the top of the ceiling, so you could, like, walk along them up in the ceiling.
He would, like, peek down on people who were practicing and, like, give them winks and shit. And he gave, like, guided tours of the ceiling. Of course, I know I went on, like, 2. Did you go on any?
Oh, I definitely went up
Okay,
there.
so yeah. And, like, in the end, there ended up being, like, a signed like pseudo petition paper of just like people who had been in the ceiling that was hidden in the ceiling.
I wonder if that's still there, like, to this day.
I really wonder. It's like I wonder if they still tell stories of like me in fucking swim team and all the fucking idiot shit I got into.
Oh my god.
But story for another time. Anyways, the ending of Earl's ceiling raids was caused by BD. BD was included, and he ended up ratting on Earl. BD, we don't like BD, and we like.
I tried.
We tried so hard.
I tried for so long.
Like, we tried to be good people, but BD made it hard. Let me put it this way. We had a hot math teacher, and I shared a class with Tony, and I would bully Tony in this class. Like, Tony and I would, like, RP, like, role play in this class where we would, like, try and bully each other. For some, like, this was my most popular class. For some reason, I think it's because Tony's, like, not easy to like compared to me. Like, we both suck, but...
Yeah.
But, like, people would take my side in this class, and Tony and I, we're still friends. He's in the Air Force. And we would bully each other in this class, and the class would take my side, and the teacher would take my side. But the key was, in this class, she had BD a class before me. So every day, for the entire time we had this class, I would waste at least 5 to 10 minutes of the beginning of the class by asking 4 stories of BD. She would tell stories of BD crying in class for almost no reason, BD laying on the floor, wallowing around and trying to get attention, and just BD generally being a motherfucker and trying to get attention. Like BD only had negative attention to gain in high school. He got plenty of positive attention from his mother, as we know.
Oh.
Please, why are you bleeding?
I don't know.
James, stop bleeding.
It's just been happening.
Like, that's a lot of blood. What did you do?
I breathed wrong.
It's coming from your hand.
No, it's coming out of my nose.
Is it?
Yeah.
James got a nosebleed, everybody. I guess he's horny. My
the
presence
alcohol
was
thinning
too
out my
strong.
blood.
You're what now?
My blood.
Your bread. No,
Fuck. The story continues.
Yeah, so BD was not liked.
So like,
I tried to teach BD how to play trumpet. As somebody who had, I've never been somebody with that's a lie. I do not try hard to learn things because I am sad boy hours, and you've all been through the school program. Leave me alone.
But like, okay, so I first met him in like my 8th grade year when I first got into band.
Yeah.
I was trash at trumpet. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I know it. Everyone knows it.
I never heard it.
That's I'll get to that.
I'm excited. I don't know this story, folks.
But so I like the first couple of years that I met him, I related that he was the person that was bullied a lot, and so I tried my best to be friends because I'm generally just a nice person and I struggle to be mean.
I can confirm this. He's not lying.
But over the years, he slowly started wearing down on that.
It didn't take years for me. It took months.
It took about 2 years.
Took months for me. You're better off than I am.
It took about 6 months until the point I stopped trying to be friends with him, and maybe about 2 years to the point that I was... Under the public school system, I was actively bullying him.
Yeah.
I didn't make him... I didn't, like... I wasn't about to make him...
If I can't make friends with
kill himself
you,
or
you're
anything,
you're either too cool for me, or there's a problem.
But, so... it got to the point where, like, initially I was friends with him. Like, he was really into Minecraft, so, like, I tried to play Minecraft with him, but it got to the point that I stopped caring. By the end of it, I had
I can confirm he did, in fact, by the school system, bully BD. And I can confirm this because at a point, me and him had a computer programming class, which we can have an entire episode on this computer
We'll
programming.
have to get back to that.
We really will. But the key thing is he made a fake Minecraft client that you could use on the school Chromebook. The only thing the school client did was email James your username and password. James proceeded to use BD's username and password. I don't even know how you knew this, but he logged into BD's servers that he actively played on.
I knew his favorite server because we played on it together.
I don't need to know. He got this man banned from the servers he was active on his own account. Like, that's bad. Don't do that.
Do not
This
do
is
that.
not a role model moment. You can actively never. We're not role models.
No.
Pursue something else.
But, like, it was, like, that point in forward, I was, like, actively against him. Like, I remember in band, he used to, like, in the middle of band class, he would have his...
Band.
God.
That's another episode right there.
He would always have his Chromebook open, like, playing games in class. And our band teacher hated it.
We'll put it this way. He was so hated that he would, like, crawl away on the ground into private rooms so that he could play video games in class, in our band class. Why was he in band class? I don't want to talk about it.
I don't even know. I think his mom wanted him to.
Yes. That's how we all started. Let's be real. But
so in band, I was never the person, and in every class, I was never the person to, like, raise my hand and ask questions. And so me and the band director had this deal worked out.
Oh my.
Where if I ever rose my hand in class, it was a signal that BD was on his laptop playing games.
Because let's be real, there's no other reason there's no other reason James would raise his hand in class.
Absolutely none, especially
he didn't
in
need
band.
help. He didn't care. He met the minimum requirements of being engaged, as did I at this point after like 8 years of playing trumpet.
Yeah. So I would, like, raise my hand, and the band director would, like, he would do it, like, as most band directors do, like, while the band is playing, they kind of, maybe pace around the room a little bit. And so he would, like, very nonchalantly walk around the back of the band until he was right behind BD. And, like, of course, BD was, like, entrenched in his video game, so he was completely unaware of what was happening.
Yeah.
And then he would catch him with the laptop. And I just remember one day, I don't know what led up to it, but they got in an argument, and he started, like, screaming and crying and, like, the usual. And the band director... The band director, like, took him outside the room, and how the doors were set up in the school is, like, they were automatically locked from the outside, so if you closed the door, it was, like, locked. And so the band director took him outside to have a quote-unquote discussion. They walked outside, the band director quickly walked inside and then closed the door, so it automatically locked.
I remember
leaving
that.
him stuck.
I remember.
Leaving him stuck outside, and then, like, the moment he goes to open the door and it's locked, you could hear this, like, shrieking cry in the entire band lights up in laughter.
It was just wailing. And, like, in hindsight, I do feel bad.
I had gotten past that point. At that point, I had tried way too hard.
I didn't feel bad. I feel bad now. I do. Because let's be honest, BD was... It was not told to us that BD was mentally handicapped in any way.
I knew.
But it was something you could tell. And it, like... because of that, you really did feel for this person. And like I've had deep relationships with people that were mentally handicapped, deeper than some of my relationships with people that weren't. But it was, if you haven't been able to tell from our past 20 to 30 minute rant on BD solely, no matter how hard you tried, you could not relate to him. You could not form you couldn't form a relationship with him as a foundation of any defense.
Yeah, I tried for so long until I got to the point I just couldn't. It was too much. And
I pray that BD, because it's been years. It's been years.
I've seen him. I think he's doing all right. He works at a big grocery store chain.
Good for him. I think he's doing all right. We all grow, and the more mistakes you make, the more you grow. So he's probably grown more than I have in the past few years. I really that was mean. I didn't mean for that to be mean.
No. That just brought me back
I made my mistakes early.
I saw him where he was working, and I was I was in the store one day buying a bunch of alcohol, and I was hastily trying to get through checkout, and he spots me and tries to go into a conversation that I guarantee would have lasted 20 minutes. But your boy's just trying to buy his alcohol and get out of the store. I was at this point
I know that
it was well past high school, and if I had the time I would have talked to him, but I had places to be, things to drink. I was
things.
You clearly see me loaded down with alcohol right now. You should pick up on the fact that this is not the time for a reunion.
That's not a BD move, though.
Oh.
Okay. We can stop shitting on BD. I just wanted to convey. We have been bullied, especially me. I have been bullied.
Oh yeah.
Rightfully so. But
deserved it. Yep.
Yeah, bullying's bad, but it also helps us grow.
That's always been my mom's stance.
Yeah, no, it's something that happens to you because you're off. And the biggest thing for me, as somebody who was homeschooled for the entirety of my beginner life, I've been bullied because I've been different. And there's times when you need to get with society, and the only way you can understand that you are on a different page than literally everyone else in America is by them to bully you. And that's a big thing to do with racism right now. We are bullying racists into not being racists.
Yeah. My mom, I mean, she always kind of jokes about it, but she's right. As long as she is the biggest bully in my life, no one else can really hurt me. They can try and bully,
yeah.
But it ain't gonna do shit.
The biggest people who have hurt me in my life have definitely been my parents, and I will forgive them because we're family. Shout out to my parents. Nice peace sign, James. But sometimes you're just not right, and you got to find that shit out.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times you don't believe your parents, and a lot of the times the reason why bullying is important is because without your peers telling you something, sometimes you don't believe what your parents say because they're not your peers.
Yeah, your peers telling you that makes a lot bigger impact.
Okay, I think this is a good end point for our third 1 hour stream. I hope we didn't offend any of you.
I really don't care if we did.
I don't either.
Sucks.
I'm sorry.
I'm not reading the comment section.
I will, but
I will, but I won't care.
We did our best, and
did we?
We were real people.
That's all that really matters.
And we did care about not offending people, but we cared on a level where it was real, and if people get offended, it's
your own fault.
Well, it's your circumstances too, but like let's be real. Like we talked about some real shit here. We talked about ourselves being bullied. We talked about ourselves being bullies, and it'll probably come back up in later episodes, but that's life. Like sometimes you bully people and sometimes you are bullied, and a lot of that has to do with society. And no joker on your asses, but like there's a degree that you have to conform to society, and there's a degree that you have to be yourself. You have to be a persistent individual. And I don't know where I'm going with this because I'm starting to feel the liquor. But I know I'm right here, and that shit happens. It happens a lot, and that's how life is. Like shit happens to me on a daily basis, whether I leave my house or not. Like some days I don't feel like, especially today, because for the first time in like a month, we played together last night, and we stayed up till like 7 a.m.
Oh,
I didn't feel like doing anything, but I had to do a lot because of my own mistakes in the past, and like the fucking lawyer shit and all kinds of shit, and helping my dad caulk the outside of his window. Caulk, C-O-C-K. Caulk the outside of his window because he no, because they're planning on moving again soon. Like that's a big thing in my life, is moving, and I basically don't live with my parents anymore, but like ever since we moved into the house we live in, no matter how much work my dad has put into his garden, they plan to move again, and they're trying to sell the house now so that they can live a better life. Final lesson: don't be afraid of change, kids. It's gonna fucking suck, but it's gonna make you better. Last words, James, on this episode?
That's the end of the episode.
Yaga.
Donate.
You don't have to, but I'm broke as shit.
Please, we're dying.